Welcome to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Jody Walls.
I'm Brady Brock.
We're with Gumtree Mortgage here in New Albany over on Starling Avenue. We specialize in home financing needs, whether it's a purchase, a refinance, or a new construction.
And we're super passionate about trying to help you find the home of your dreams, help you get it financed, just like this one right here.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Up in a game. You come out and hit them in the mouth from the first play, we're going to be fine.
Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Inside New Albany High School Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield and Mr. Paul Henry. We want to welcome you from State Farm, Wally Morgan State Farm here in New Albany on Starling Avenue. Also want to thank our show sponsor, Jody Walls and Brady Brock at Gumtree Mortgage. So thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoy.
Hey, fall coming around, and guess what? Football's in the air, isn't it? And, one thing, Coach Stubblefield, we always like to do is reflect on last year. We had a great season last year, and, moving forward, we always want to kind of look back and what we've learned, what we've done, what we've accomplished, and, just moving forward, what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last season was one of the best teams New Albany's had in a long time. Our record didn't necessarily indicate that. We finished the year 5-4. We let one slip away from us against Pontotoc. A good Hernando team beat us. But we were a very competitive football team. Went toe-to-toe with Louisville, who went on to win state championship. I think some things could have gone a different way. That result could have been different. But extremely proud of the team we had last year. A lot of talent on that team that has moved on. Still got some of those pieces back. But, that was a team that was a lot of fun to coach, and I know the whole coaching staff enjoyed last season.
Yeah, Coach, tell us real quick, it was a great season last year. But now you've got a bunch of young bucks, a new team this year. Can you kind of tell us some of your players, some of your game breakers, some of your playmakers that are the fans can watch at home? Help us get to know them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So from that team last year, we've got a few core seniors that are back that are still there that have been a big part of the team in the past. C.J. Hill still at running back. Our quarterback's returning, Joe Mathis. Those two guys are a big part of the offense. Cameron Knox is a kid that's got some scholarship offers out there. Is committed to Southern Miss currently. Will play receiver, safety, and be in the backfield also some. Milton Regalado anchors that offensive line. Him and Ethan Conley are both returning guys up front for us on the offense. Elijah Fleming's another receiver that's back that'll be a senior this year. So there's some core pieces there that are back that are still there. We've also got a couple seniors that have kind of worked hard their whole career that it's kind of their time to make an impact in the game. One of those guys is Daniel Bullock, a kid that's tough, that's worked hard, that's been in the weight room, that you'll see at linebacker on special teams a lot. Tyler Elias is another guy that'll be at center. So guys that just have kind of paid their time, bought their time, worked hard, and now it's their opportunity. So we're excited about that. To go with, along with those older guys, there are a lot of young guys that'll get a chance too. We've got, guys like Cody Atkins, who's been in the mix, but he's now a junior. Keelan Simpson's a sophomore that you'll see a lot. Jarrell Bowling is a guy that played a lot at outside linebacker that, will be a star on defense for us. On the defensive line side, we've got Montavio Sullivan that was still there, Peyton Rogers. Those guys will still be contributors. So there's a lot of guys that are transitioning from kind of being young guys that are getting older. And then you'll see some ninth graders. This is a season where we've got a good class of ninth graders. The kid named DJ Robinson is going to be a guy that's going to start at safety for us right now as a ninth grader. And so, excited about what some of those young guys are going to bring to the table this year also.
Well, that's the exciting thing about, team athletics and sports, especially football, is, when you have that graduating class and you have a group of young guys, right, that are going to kind of get thrown into the fire pretty quick, right? But we've got some young ones that are going to have to step in and play some big minutes for you this year, don't we?
Yeah, you saw some guys like Keelan Shaw last year, with a big return for a touchdown. We gave him a jet sweep around the edge, and I think he took it about 70 yards. So he's a guy that you'll see every day at corner now. You'll also see him at the slot receiver position catching some passes as well.
Coach, you've also got some new coaches, some exciting new coaches also. Can you kind of talk to the viewers about your new coaches and give a little bit of a preview of their background?
Yeah, so we're bringing most of the staff back. Coach Hammond's still our defensive coordinator. Coach Stubblefield will still continue to be our offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of guys that are still there. Coach Kerbo, Coach Murphy, Coach Sanks. But a couple of young guys. With your current guys, can you talk about what positions they coach before you get to the new ones? Yeah, absolutely. Coach Hammond is our defensive coordinator. He's a longtime head coach. He also does our DBs for us. Coach Kendall Murphy does our inside linebackers. And then Coach Sean Sanks does our outside linebackers. Those guys were all there from the defensive staff last year. Our defensive line was kind of a combination of me and Coach Stubblefield kind of tag teaming it. Coach Sanks helped with it some. This year we've got Channing Ward. Channing spent some time in the NFL and at Ole Miss. He's coming along. Doing a good job for us.
Wait, hold on. You skipped the headline there. Channing spent some time where?
In the NFL.
In the NFL with
right.
Tampa Bay, right?
So Channing spent 3 years with Tampa Bay. He spent a season in the XFL. All 4 years at Ole Miss, was an Under Armour All-American, so had a prolific career playing. And so we're glad that experience and that mentality that he brings is with us on the D-line also.
Yeah, it never hurts to have a guy that played in the NFL coaching the guys here in New Albany, right? That's
absolutely.
A good thing.
No doubt.
So offensively, we've got Colin Stubblefield. He's going to continue to be the OC. He's going to call the plays this year. Jake McDonald was a new addition last year. That's still there. And Josh Kerbo.
What position is Jake coaching?
Jake coaches our wide receivers,
okay.
And then Josh does our running backs. We've also got Chris Duncan on staff. Coach, we wanted to make sure we tied the middle school to the high school program as much as we possibly could. So Coach Duncan's going to help both on the high school and middle school. Josh Kerbo will also be involved in the middle school program, and Coach Murphy as well. So we've got some guys that are kind of going back and forth with the thought that that'll help transition guys from the middle school to the high school better.
Well, one thing I can tell you about Coach Stubblefield's staff, and I haven't been around them a whole lot in the locker room and thing, but anytime I am around them, it's just a chemistry. It seems like it's getting better and better every year.
No doubt about it.
Since you've been here in New Albany. And
those are guys that we spend a lot of time with. Every day, when practice is over, they're still there an hour or so. There's a lot of film study that goes on Sundays, so you don't want guys up there that you don't get along with. It's a lot more fun that when you come to work every day and enjoy the people you're around. So we like to play, goof off. Those guys get after each other. But there's a lot of chemistry. There's a lot of guys. We enjoy going to work and being around each other.
Coach, before we go to commercial break, can you talk real quick? You mentioned the integration of the high school staff with the middle school staff. And people don't realize how important that is. Can you kind of talk about what that looks like and how that's made an impact in the program?
Well, I think, anytime you go 2 years in a middle school program and then all of a sudden you're kind of thrown in the fire at the high school, there's a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of uncertainty that go along with that. So I think transitioning coaches that are be involved in both will help us by helping kids be more comfortable, helping them kind of know what to expect when they get to the high school level. We want them to have a great experience at the high school and at the middle school, and just let them know that that's going to continue once they finish the middle school on into high school.
So what are the logistics of it? Who's going to the middle school? Who's coming to the high school? And how are you making that work?
Coach Duncan, Chris Duncan, is our middle school head coach. So he's been there. He's been around the high school staff. He's helped us some. But Coach Mr. Henry has made it to where he's got that last period off, so he's able to get to us a little bit earlier, be a little bit more involved in practice on a day-to-day level. So he's there. Josh Kerbo is going. He had been helping with our 9th grade program. He's going to transition from the 9th grade. Mr. Buchanan has made it to where he could go to the middle school and participate in that junior high program. So that's the two guys that during the season will be able to bounce back and forth. I've also got some time during third block that I can get over there and be around the middle school some also, so it's going to help me be able to be around the middle school more. So we're in a position to where we can be more involved in that middle school program, and ultimately in return we hope to keep them out and keep them involved and get them to the high school.
Well, I know you know this more than anybody. That's the foundation of your program,
Absolutely.
That's 3 and 4 years down the road. Those are the kids that are going to have to step in, and some of them 3, because we said we've got some 9th graders who will have to be playing some big minutes this year for you. But, that terminology and just getting all of your your X's and O's in.
Sure.
In your terminology, from top to bottom, is very essential.
And Josh is very involved in our offense, Josh Curbo, so he's going to bring that and kind of do the offense for the middle school. Coach Duncan is a coach that kind of bounces between the D-line and the offensive line, but this will be the second year in a row he's been in the box for our defensive staff, so he's well aware of what we do on defense. Like you said, the terminology, the calls are going to be the same this year. The program was just kind of really blended and coming together there, and I think that will only help us in the future.
Yeah, I think your leadership in that really is showing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just exciting to me. Again, kick off this Friday. Excited to see what we're going to put on the field, and exciting in the direction we're heading in New Albany football.
You always want to see kids successful. It's a lot of fun. We've seen those young guys get an opportunity, so you're going to see a little bit of that this year. Last year, I think we were very, very experienced. We had a lot of depth. Some young guys are going to get chances this year, and so it's going to be exciting.
That's great. All right. Well, again, we're bringing this show to you from Wally Morgan State Farm. The show is sponsored by Jody Walls and Brady Brock over at Gumtree Mortgage. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be with Mr. Matt Buchanan. He's the new principal at New Albany High School. So stay with us.
Napa know-how isn't just for guys like this.
Power tools.
Every driver deserves quality parts.
Practical and cool.
So you can do it yourself with Napa Auto Parts, or get it done for you at a Napa Auto Care Center. Which means Napa know-how is for you, karaoke car lady. And never popped a hood guy?
I can pop a hood.
You too, Mr. Park a mile away. Oh yeah. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Well, welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football. We've got with us Mr. Matt Buchanan. He's the new principal of New Albany High School. Matt, welcome.
Absolutely. Mr. Garrett, Mr. Henry, thank you for having me. It's a great day to be a Bulldog.
All right. Number one question here. What's it been like so far in New Albany, Mississippi for you?
For us, myself and my family, it has been a very, very pleasant experience, a welcomed change for us. We've spent all of my professional career has been in Rankin County. I've spent the last 7 years at Northwest Rankin High School as an assistant principal. They're very supportive school district, very supportive school, very supportive community. However, we felt it was time, obviously, for me to take that next step from an assistant principalship to a lead principalship. But from the family perspective, our own personal family, we felt as though a change was needed for us. Number one, so that we could get into a tight-knit community. And that's what New Albany felt like to us throughout the interview process, throughout the visits that we were able to get when we would come up here prior to being named the principal. And that was something that we struggled to find. So New Albany has welcomed us with open arms and has quickly turned into a family environment, which is something that we are thriving in right now. So.
Yeah, that's great. New Albany's a great place to live, great place to raise kids, so we're so happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your goals and aspirations as the principal of New Albany High School.
Sure. Our goal, number one, is obviously to keep kids safe on a day-to-day basis. But then number two is we want to provide students with a world-class education that is second to nobody. And being a school guy, you look at accountability and test scores and yada yada yada. That test scores is important, yes. So our goal, number one, we want to be the top-rated school and school district in the state of Mississippi. Yes, and we've got some really, really great pieces of that puzzle already in place. And being on the job a month with teachers in the building, kids in the building, it didn't take long for us to realize we're in a very, very special place, and we're fixing to do some really, really great things.
Well, we welcome you. We're really excited to have you here. Kind of talk about your first impressions of the district and the welcome you've had from a professional standpoint, but also tell us a little bit about your family. I know you got a lovely wife and daughter, so tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. First off, had it not been for Dr. Evans, our superintendent, and a really, really good administrative staff that he has put together here in the district, and our school board, obviously I wouldn't be here without their support. So from the top down, Dr. Evans has given the support, but he's also taken the step away when he needs to provide that level of support. You know, you can have hands-on support, hands-off support, and he has done a really, really great job. And I foresee that continuing with that, you know, in a really great balance of hands-on, hands-off support.
Sure.
So,
and then your family.
Yeah, my lovely wife, Danica. We've been married just over 13 years now. We met at Southern Miss. She teaches for Mr. Henry at the middle school, and then we've got a wonderful young daughter. She's 9. She's with Miss Russell at the elementary school in the 4th grade. So,
well, I'll tell you what, kind of a quick fact about Mr. Buchanan. I think he bought and sold a house quicker than I've ever seen anybody doing that. It was in like maybe you can tell us a little bit about how quick you got one sold and moved one and bought one.
Right. So I had the second interview for the job on a Thursday. Dr. Evans called. We kind of played phone tag a little bit Thursday night into Friday morning. I took the job on a Friday, that Friday morning. And immediately we called a realtor, because at the point in which I had a second interview, we talked to a realtor and said, you know, we were kind of quiet about it at that point in Rankin County. We said, look, this is a really distinct possibility. So what can you do for us? How fast can you work? And she said, well, as soon as if you get the job, you let me know and we can have it up and going in about 4 hours. So I took the job on Friday. Our house went on the market 7 days later, and at that point we had already agreed on a purchase of a house here in New Albany. We were here the weekend after I took the job on Friday, and throughout the course of it going online for sale on Friday night about 8:30, it sold in Rankin County before about 8:30 on Monday morning. So,
well, that's great. It's
a really, really quick turnaround. Sure. But it you know, faith is really big for us. Family is really big for us, and school is really big for us. You know, number one, since we've been here, I've been supported school-wise. My family has always had my support, and I've got their support. And then, you know, the faith in the good Lord above, because if it wasn't for him, you know, none of it would have fallen into place as easily as it did.
Yes, sir.
Well, I join Mr. Henry and the rest of the Bulldog family in welcoming you to New Albany. Happy to have you here. If you would, tell everybody the hashtag you're using on social media. That way when people go to a ball game, they can use that hashtag.
Absolutely. Like I said, my wife and I met at Southern Miss. We are big Southern Miss supporters, alumni right now. I am currently still in school at Southern Miss. I will finish up a doctorate degree next summer. So one of Southern Miss's hashtags and mantras is Southern Miss to the top, SMTTT. So as a play on Southern Miss to the top, we kind of coined the hashtag NA Dogs to the top, but the first two
is the number two.
The number two. So you're going to see it capital NA, capital D, OGS to the top.
So if you're at a ball game, take a picture, put it on social media,
Absolutely.
Use that hashtag, and everybody else will be able to find it on social media.
Absolutely.
Matt, thanks for being here. After this commercial break, we'll come back with Coach Stubblefield, and we'll talk about East Union, our first game of the season.
Call State Farm agent Wally Morgan at 662-539-7062 today.
Well, welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. We're here at Wally Morgan State Farm, our show site sponsor. And this show is brought to you by Gumtree Mortgage with Jody Walls and Brady Brock.
Well, Coach, you know we've got our first game Friday night. We're supposed to have one last week, but it kind of got clipped by Nettleton and their COVID protocols and things,
Sure.
right? I know you've been practicing hard. You guys have been working hard. Kind of tell us a little bit about how that's going and some of the hurdles you may have had or not had, and so forth.
With heat and everything. Yes, sir.
You know, each year kind of starting off the season, it's kind of a grind even before you even get to games. So the guys, you know, put long hours in of when it's hot outside. They put a lot of work in really through the summer, going through weight training. It's a dedication sport. We tell them all the time that, guys, everybody can't do this. You're kind of like the Marines, you're the few, the proud that y'all are still out here, y'all are making it. So, you know, so even them being involved in the football program, it's kind of a testament to some of the strength that they bring to the forefront.
No doubt about it.
Major commitment.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
So weight room through the summer, you know, that go along with that is a conditioning and agility, speed and agility program that they go through. So that's both months of the summer. And then we get into when football can actually start, you know, that date set by the MHSAA, and we have roughly about 2 weeks that we kind of get going before that first jamboree gets started. So, you know, there's a heat acclimation period. The first 2 practices must be in helmets, followed by 3 practices in shoulder pads. So a lot of times we scrimmage on that 5th day with just shoulder pads on. We had Meet the Bulldogs that night and kind of had a little live scrimmage for people to see. So, and then that followed by that 6th practice, we get to actually put pads on and kind of get after a little bit more. So, you know, it's a period of roughly 2 weeks and sometimes longer if you get a game canceled and whatnot, that until they get to actually hit an opponent. So I know that guys are all excited about actually, you know, lining up against somebody in a game situation to where they can kind of put their skill to the test, so to speak. So it's a long process, but it's kind of finally to the point where they're getting to do something else.
I'm sure they're ready to hit on somebody besides each other, right?
Absolutely.
No. Well, Coach, you know, all of us want to know about East Union, right? Tell us about what they've got, how they look when you study film. If I'm not looking at the film, who do I need to look out for on film? Just tell us a little bit about East Union and kind of give us some of your perspective from film study.
Yeah.
And one thing you got to say about East Union, you got to tip your hat. They had a deep playoff run last year.
Great team last year.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a great year last year. You know, Coach Todd Lott, who was here with us for a little while, is their head coach now. Coach Lott, I think, brings a mentality of tough, hard-nosed to that program, and they kind of feed off that and go with it. So they had a really good year last year, like you said. They were kind of led by Colton Plunk, who was a running back for them that had, you know, a tremendous year. They only lost 5 players, starters, only had 5 seniors graduate.
4 starters,
so, you know, they bring a lot of that team back. Like you said, a team that played for North Half in 2A football. So, you know, we go into every game expecting them teams to play at a high level. You know, this week's no different just because they're a 2A school. They're going to bring a lot of talent and desire and fight to the table.
Well, and not only that, it's an in-county rival, right?
Absolutely.
And so tell us, like, what kind of offense are they running? What kind of defense are they running?
Well, you know, primarily they're in a 2-tight set with some little different power eye action stuff. You know, like I said, they're a hard-nosed group that's going to come run right at you. You know, I anticipate our speed being a little bit better than theirs. Our skill guys, Cameron Knox, Elijah Fleming, some of those guys that will be hard to kind of run down for them. I think in the trenches, though, it'll be a fight all night. They're really physical up front. You know, it's going to be a test for our big guys. You know, and that's what we tell them every week. We got to win the battle up front. So I think that's something for a fan to look at is the line of scrimmage, see what's happening there. Because, like I said, East Union's got a good size up there. And then for us, we're going to try to get the ball to those playmakers to get some the ball on the edge and see if those skill guys can outrun them.
So on offense, you say they're running too tight. What percentage run pass would you say? Are they 50-50, 80-20?
They're very heavy. In the past, they've been very heavy run.
So about 80-20 pass or run?
Like that, yeah, absolutely.
And so go ahead.
Well, so who would be their impact players that, you know, our guys that we got to stop?
Well, they've got a quarterback that's coming back that's very good. You know, I know them like us are dodging COVID and whatnot. I know they've got a couple kids out with that. So we typically we've been able to evaluate a film. So like that jamboree that got canceled, we were originally going to play Nettleton, then we changed to Water Valley, and then we just weren't able to get it in either. East Union was in the same boat. I know Coach Lott painted that field twice, and they didn't end up getting to play with it due to the weather. So they were supposed to play Pontotoc. So you kind of go into this first game based solely off last season. So we don't have a whole lot of stats off this team. We don't have a whole lot of, you know, I don't know who their star running back's going to be because he graduated. So there's kind of, you go into this first game, you know, fairly blind to the fact of, I don't know what their top formation is. I don't know what percentage of run pass they're going to be. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. So from a defensive standpoint, we evaluate film from last year. We kind of We analyze what they did, see who they've lost, kind of project what they might do. But we mainly try to have a lineman assignment where we know how to line up our base defense against multiple fronts, and that way our kids are prepared and they can play fast.
So it's probably a fair statement. We're going to learn a lot about them and a lot about us Friday night, right?
Absolutely. From an offensive standpoint, we know what we're going to do. Now, we may tweak and change things week to week to take advantage of something we see on film. But, again, we don't have a lot of film other than last year to go off of. So we're going to work on us. We try not to let the defense dictate what we can and can't do anyway. So we're going to go into it, offensively from a standpoint of knowing what we want to do, trying to accomplish that, and from a defensive standpoint, being able to line up, play physical football, and get after it regardless of their formation.
Well, if you're watching this live stream, you're watching the coach's show prior to the game. But, Coach, tell us about if somebody wants to come in person, what time does it start, how much does it cost, that kind of thing?
Yeah, kickoff's at 7 o'clock. The band will enter. We'll do different things as far as getting ready for it. So, the football team goes out at 6, but the kickoff actually starts at 7 o'clock. If you can't make it to the game, the cost of the game is $6. So I don't think there's a cheaper admission in the state. So
no doubt.
Bring all the kids, bring all the family. Make sure you come out. There'll be fireworks when we score touchdowns, and we will try to make it a good atmosphere for everybody. The band will have a concession stand that's ready to go. And any proceeds there go to help support them. And then if you can't make it, if you're out of town or whatnot, it'll be on the live stream. Followed by this coach's show. It'll kick off at 7 o'clock with the live stream.
And then tell the folks at home the hashtag that you use for football. So the high school's using NA Dogs at the top, and so if folks will hashtag it, and then footballs when they're at a football game, people will be able to find your pictures.
Yeah, what we use, and we've used it for all 4 years I've been there, is the standard. We try to talk to kids all the time about at home, school, whatever they're going to. As long as they're putting their best out there, they're going to be successful. And so
best is the standard.
Best is the standard. Hashtag best is the standard.
Great.
That's something that Coach Sweeney at Clemson has used in the past. Liked it, and we've kind of tried to make it our own.
Wally Morgan State Farm is proud to host Coach Cody Stubblefield's New Albany Bulldog pregame show.
At Wally Morgan State Farm, family is important to us. We think of ourselves as a family and our community as a family, and nothing is more important than nurturing the youth in our community. We are super proud of Coach Stubblefield and all the work he's done for Bulldog football, and we are super excited to support him and the entire team and see what they do this season. Go Dogs!